Introduce, I would say, a local celebrity here. Miraj Patel serves as the chairman of AHOA, the youngest chairman, the world's largest hotel owners association with 20,000 members that collectively own 60% of the hotels in the United States and are responsible for 1.7% of the nation's GDP. Miraj is a second generation hotelier who's also the president of Wayside Investment Group, a Texas-based company that specializes in making opportunistic investments in the lodging and hospitality real estate sector. Miraj, we look forward to your remarks and opportunities for attendees to collaborate with AHOA. Thank you so much.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miraj Patel. I'm the chairman of AHOA. AHOA is the world's largest hotel owners association. And coincidentally, I am from Houston, Texas, but I did spend 4 years of my college here in Miami. I went to Johnson & Wales University. I did my undergrad in hotel and lodging management, and I did my MBA with a concentration in hospitality. So it feels like I'm back home. With that being said, I wanted to firstly thank the Kabani Hotel Group for allowing us to be here. We really are thankful for the partnership, and congratulations on a successful conference today. With that being said, what is AHOA? Our association, 60% of the hotels in America are owned by AHOA members. That's 36,000 AHOA member-owned hotels across the United States. And that's over 3.2 million guest rooms in the United States of America. So what is the organization working on? And I'll wrap this up as quick as I can. It all starts with unity. Andy just mentioned right now, if we're not united, then there's a problem. We're not going to be able to protect the industry that we all love and are participants of. So this year we put a heavy focus on a simple thing, unity. How do you unite everyone together? As an organization owning 60% of the hotels in America with 20,000 members, it's pretty hard to get everyone united. But we've always mentioned this thing. We are only as strong as we are united and as weak as we are divided. So how does AHOA truly help the hotel owner? 3 letters, NOI. I figured as chair when I took on the role that the only way I'm going to be able to unite 20,000 people is if we focus on what's going to help improve our NOI. With NOI, focusing on helping members make money, save money, and protect their investments. Who doesn't want to help improve their NOI? With NOI, what are we focused on this year? We've broken down our industry challenges into 4 different buckets. 1 being disruptors, 2 being brands, 3 being cost, and 4 being regulations. With the first one as disruptors, online travel agencies, addressing the significant cost and the fact that there's so many options in the market. You look at short-term rentals, promoting a level playing field with efforts to regulate. I mean, we've put a heavy focus on just the state of Florida alongside NABWOOD and many other organizations. And the association partnered up with almost 36 different state association partners across the country. And collectively, we're only pushing one thing. How do we level the playing field when it comes to short-term rentals? Then you look at tech companies, analyzing and addressing advancements affecting the industry. Companies like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Google, Apple, Amazon, all these companies that have such an advancement in the industry has a role in the industry. We need to make sure that we're getting ahead of it. You think about it. When I first brought this up in the board, everybody said that doesn't make any sense. But you look at companies like Amazon. Where did labor pool go? It went to companies like Amazon. That has an impact in the lodging industry. We recently, just 4 days ago, we talked about this. You know, when I brought this up in the month of April till now, 4 days ago, we just saw a headline where Uber is eyeing Expedia. Think about it. That has a $20 million takeover that has, again, an impact in the lodging industry. Then you look at, again, looking at influences from COVID-19. Raising awareness of lasting changes that reshape the way we do business moving forward. Then you look at brands. And I like what Zach just mentioned at Red Roof, that AHOA is all about looking at every single dollar in your wallet as an owner. When you look at brands, first one has brand dilution and value. Addressing the lack of differentiators that cause consumer confusion and brand dilution. Over the past so many years, there's been so many different brands introduced. And what does that do? Are the legacy brands losing its value? And is there brand dilution now in the market? Not too long ago, there wasn't enough brands available for consumers to choose from and developers to choose from. Now there's 1,200 different hotel brands available. Think about that. With 1,200 different brands, are we really diluting the markets? Or other argument that we've heard is, well, brands create brands because consumers demand. But then we look at how do you consolidate these brands. If the brands aren't doing well, you put them away and then you create a new brand and you consolidate that. So that's some of the conversations that we're having with many of the brand partners. Lack of innovation, raising awareness of hospitality's lag when compared to other industries. As an industry, we have to make sure that we're united when it comes to technology advancement. Why did companies like Airbnb and Vrbo take away so much market share? Because they were ahead of technology while we lagged. So as an industry, we're all talking about how do we make technology a priority in the industry. Then you look at purchasing mandates, challenging brand purchasing mandates with the free enterprise methodology. What's costing $1 versus $5 through a preferred vendor, as long as it matches the spec, how do we create waiver programs allowing the owner to use that dollar item as long as it matches the spec? Again, looking at help improving NOI and cost while renovating a hotel or building a hotel. Then you look at renovation cycles, addressing mandated change cycles being unsustainable in pace, scope, design, cost. The cost of renovating a hotel is no longer cheap. It's increasing year after year after year. So how do we collectively as an industry look at CapEx and look at when we're doing our renovation projects, instead of every 5 to 7 year, how do we timeline this? So that again, with NOI shrinking, how do we reduce the burden on the hotel owner? And then lastly, looking at profitability and NOI, advocating for overall profitability where owners' profits don't take a backseat. Next one is cost. You look at labor, again, a challenge that we were all facing way before the pandemic. Even prior to pandemic, labor was the biggest issue in the industry. Addressing the pressing challenges of labor, including recruitment, retention, and wage increases. I mean, just this past 3 and 4 months or so, along with NABHOOD and many of the state partners, we've been battling places like Los Angeles. Just yesterday, after a weekly rally, $38 increase in minimum wage. Think about it, Los Angeles. Yesterday there was a committee vote, and after all these efforts, guess what the committee voted on? In favor of $38. So now it'll go to the council, where in the past couple of weeks we've already set up all these meetings to make sure that we push this away, because as Andy mentioned, starts in Los Angeles, it'll go to New York, it'll go to so many other places. But these are the types of things that we must unite to make sure that we're protecting the industry. Then you look at insurance. Florida being the biggest challenge of insurance. The fact that availability is the biggest issue, but even if it is available, the skyrocketing cost. As an organization right now, we are working with many of the state commissioners to look at how do we create something where there's an education provided to the membership of AHOA and owners as general, and collectively looking at going into the market, being the market of leveraging 60% of hotels in America to reduce the premium cost and getting better coverage. Then you look at evolution of the hotel business model, looking at simple and straightforward solutions for the lodging industry to help improve NOI. Things like free breakfast. How do we eliminate free breakfast when it comes to the economy segment? Or in the select service segment, how do we reduce the number of offerings when it comes to breakfast? Again, helping improving the cost of operating a hotel. Things like free shuttle, looking at how do we ask the brand partners to look at allowing our owners to start charging for the shuttle service. Oftentimes, if you have a hotel near the airport, you're often required to have a shuttle service, complimentary. But what's the other option for consumers? Uber, Lyft, taxi. And it's already going to charge you $10, $15 right off the bat in today's cost. So why not allow the owners to now charge for shuttle service, or just permanently get rid of shuttle service? Again, helping improve our NOI. Then you look at things like housekeeping service. How do we fade away from daily housekeeping to every 2 to 3 days? Again, helping improve with the NOI and looking at the labor challenges that we're all facing. And then things like credit card fees and et cetera. Some of the conversations we're having on the state side with state association, I think about 3 states already, we've introduced legislation allowing the owners to now take the cost of the credit card processing fee and put it onto the consumer. But again, these are the types of things that will help improve NOI. They sound simple and straightforward, but again, there's an impact when it comes to our net operating income. And then looking at creating a new rate model, adopting something similar to the airline industry as a whole as we fade away. It's been 4 years since the pandemic, and costs have continued to rise, but we've seemed to not figure out a way to unite and help improve NOI as a whole. If you look at just operating costs from 2019 to 2024 year to date, we're always talking about the fact that top line revenue is growing, but nobody's talking about NOI. You look at insurance costs from 2019 till now, the number is not showing up there, but it's 240.6% increase. You look at property tax, 108% increase. And you look at leisure and hospitality wages, it's close to 164% increase. So think about it. That right there is our profit. So we look at how do we help improve NOI. These are the types of conversations that we're having working with the community across the industry. And then you look at regulations. The fact that operating a hotel in today's time is becoming more and more complex. Part of it is because the government, and the other part of it is because of all the regulations. You look at things like HR regulations, PCI compliance, immigration laws and regulations, safety and compliance, brand regulations, lending regulations. There's so many regulations across the board that it's becoming so difficult to operate the hotel. As a second generation hotelier, when I talk to the membership of AHOA, the first generation are always complaining. It's becoming so hard. So as an organization, not only are we doing all our advocacy efforts, we're also pushing in a lot of money into education. How do we educate the membership and owners to say, look at all the different regulations that are out there so that you're more prepared of what's going on in the industry. Some of the recent highlights, we rebranded our regional. We actually have our Florida coming up in the next week or so in Daytona Beach. Please do come and join us. The reason for this is to bring all the owners together as part of our efforts. We've had 24 throughout the year. Our last one for the year is going to be in Daytona Beach, Florida. Then you look at some of the things that we're working on the advocacy side. Oftentimes our membership don't have the information. So we've created something called In Your Corner, which gives you an action alert of all the advocacy efforts across the United States, state by state, even city by city, so our membership are getting up-to-date information on what the association is working on when it comes to all the advocacy efforts. Then the other thing that we've just launched right now is a resource to help with solving basic problems. With 20,000 members, you'll hear so many issues, whether it be franchise issues, issues in their city, issues with labor, whatever the issue may be. We've created a hotline, 1-888-MY-AHOA. This is for the membership where we have a department just looking at putting a report together. So if you have individual issue, a member issue, if you have something in your particular city, give us that information so that we know how to help tackle that issue. That's part of a member benefit that we're providing so that we can get ahead of the issues when it becomes an issue. And on top of that, it gives us an industry outlook, right? 4 or 5 years back, one of the biggest issues that we were facing was ADA suits. Well, then when we got all this information, as an industry, we all came together to seeing how we can advocate on behalf. Coming soon, we're gonna be launching our app that's gonna be provided to the membership, giving them relevant information and up-to-date information. Initiative for our independent hoteliers, enhanced member benefits, expanded partnership for professional development, especially on the educational side. AHOA Charitable Foundation that we're creating an entity put together. We're gonna launch it very soon now, where we're gonna be giving back to the community. It's not about how much money we're making and how much advocacy efforts, but it's also how much we're giving back to the economy and the community as a general. Last year, we raised over $360,000 in charity, which went back to local charities and local area. Now this year, we've created this foundation, which will allow us to not only give back to the local community, but also on the national side. And then of course, we're having the Brand Insight Forum. Some of the events, the biggest event the association puts together, which is our annual convention, it'll be April 15th to 17th in New Orleans, Louisiana. Please do, we all welcome you. Registration will be opening very soon. Please do join us with your friends and family. It is the biggest event of the year that the association does organize. And this year, we've also cut one day. One of the biggest complaints that we got was that it's too many days away from our businesses. So then this year, as a board, we collectively cut one day so that you're getting the maximize of the event itself. Then we have the HYPE conference, which is going to be in Mexico City, February 6th through 7th. This is a platform that we have just for the young professional hoteliers. If you are a young professional, please do join us. And if you have any children looking at wanting to be in the hotel business, please do join us as well. Advocacy updates on the federal side. Again, the legislation that we had put in, Lions Act, which is basically the SBA loan limit, raising it from 5 million to 10 million, which is still active. We've built a coalition and we're also pushing it on the Senate side as well. Then looking at addressing workforce issues, And then, of course, 1031 exchange, continue to preserve that, as many of our members have taken much advantage of. But we need to make sure that it remains there for most of our membership. Then the PAC side, this year we put a heavy focus when it comes to PAC collection. Why? Because in 35-year history, the average PAC collected in a single year has been between $200,000 to $300,000. The most PAC ever collected was in 2017 under the leadership of Miraj Patel, where we raised $692,000. So within the election year, within all these issues that we're facing on the federal side, state side, local side, we've put a heavy focus to PAC. And for this year particularly, now as of this is not updated, our goal was $1 million for the year. And you can imagine everybody laughing at me because we've only raised $200,000 to $300,000 on an annual basis. But it's proud to say that with the efforts of the membership, the ambassadors, and the board, we are now at about $900,000. So it's a pretty large PAC number that we've raised in the history of the association. And thank you. And on a PAC cycle, last year we raised about $524,000, so we'll be over $1.5 million, putting us at top 20 highest PAC dollars ever raised. And so we're only $100,000 short. We'll be in Florida, so I'm sure that between the state of Florida, we'll be able to hit that number of $1 million. Twice a year, we go to DC. Again, we had it just about a month ago. We had 300 hoteliers get together advocating on federal issues. And again, one of the biggest issues that we faced over there was that we have the numbers, 60% in hotels in America, but again, it all depends on how much PAC you're giving, because the language of politics is money. And so this year, coming up in March 11th to 12th, we'll have our spring advocacy event. So please do join us there. This shows a real strength and power of the organization. So we do welcome all of you to be a participant of this. On the state side, Andy covered most of all the issues that we are facing. But again, just looking at overall short-term rentals, looking at supporting lodging tax dollars only for tourism, and then things like California clarifying and maintaining innkeeper guest relations, combating homelessness vouchers, and et cetera. So these are issues that we are facing on the state side that we're working with state partners and organizations like NABHOOD and et cetera. Again, Los Angeles that we talked about, a $38 minimum wage increase that we're all pushing forward, and New York City that we're all working together hand in hand on. Again, how do we stay together? Please look at the newsletter that we have, enough information, and we're all on every single social media platform. Again, thank you guys, Kabani Hotel Group, and thank you guys for joining us here today, and thank you for the partnership over the years.